Hey there, sports fans. Welcome back. It's another episode of Dinner with the Captain. I'm John Dinner, and sitting here to my left is Captain Steve Priolo, captain of your Buffalo Bandits. How you doing, Steve?
Good, buddy. Good.
You made out okay with all the ice and stuff that's going around Southern Ontario? Didn't interrupt any travel plans?
Yeah, we stayed at Jackie's dad's, and he had a wood fire stove, so I don't know, the power was out around here and everywhere, so it was nice to have at least a little bit of heat.
Yeah, and that's been a big thing and a big theme of what's been going on up here in the Muskoka area. We are on the shores of Lake Rosso as teachers at Rosso Lake College, and the school was actually closed for 4 days, or 3 days, excuse me, but without power for 5, and it's been quite a time up here, but everybody's safe, happy, healthy, warm, and that's something that's when we talk about when I talk to parents about coming into the sport of lacrosse, we talk about life lessons and stuff like that. That's one of the big ones, right? Looking after your teammates, looking after each other, and then that just extends out, and you look after your neighbors. So as you're listening to this podcast, maybe you're chainsawing some trees down or making a drive down to somewhere where there is some power. Be safe and look after each other. But we've got some lacrosse to talk about, and I think on today's show we're going to rewind a little bit and go all the way back to the summer, to those hazy days in the end of August, early days of September. The Man Cup was happening, and you guys got to do a little bit of celebrating.
Yeah, while everybody was in the ice storm, I was down in Six Nations. We had a ring ceremony, and I brought it here, and it's so slick. Like,
that is,
I know I was showing you
nice
before
piece,
the show.
But that's a nice piece of jewelry.
Yeah, like these, like, I don't know what they are, these blue something or others, but I think they make up the feathers behind the Chiefs logo. And man, I love how slick it is. Like, it's with the black and everything. It's just so nice, and has those subtleties. And then when you put a light on it, it just glimmers, and it's got all the nice touches, right? It has the throwback to the teams in the past, and it has Ryan's dad's initials on the inside, and you know, a throwback to his dad who used to own the team. And I don't know, it's got to be, you know, if not tied with the Bandit rings, like maybe my favorite, like up there with
in terms of looks and stuff like that.
Yeah, like it's done so professional, right? So the 2 Bandit rings we got are blow away niceness too, and this is right up there with them.
Yeah.
So
and that's not sort of what you were expecting out of a Man Cup ring, was it? Like,
well, I don't know. My older Man Cup ring was a little, you know, I got one in 2015 with the Shamrocks, and it was nice, but it's a little smaller, and there's not as many diamonds like the Shamrock in the middle.
It's kind of a little bit more of that traditional, almost like
very
that.
Traditional. Looks back at like those like Bill Russell rings almost when he was winning with the Celtics, right?
Yep.
It's very much like those, and it's beautiful in its own way, but in terms of like pop and wowness, this one and the two,
is something,
the two
right?
from
Like,
the Bandits are just, they just pop and blow you away.
Now we talked way back, and we talked back at the beginning of our season here, I guess. What are we? Episode 18 now. This is great. Yeah, it's awesome. You had some say in the ring design for the Bandits, being the captain and those kinds of things. Did you have any say in this? Was there anything?
No, I had no idea. I had no idea what to expect. Just, you know, I know what the rings looked like in the past with the Chiefs, but I had no idea, and I love that they went with I don't know what the metal is. I think it's obsidian or something like that, but I loved that they went with the all blacks, and it just looks, I don't know, I think it looks wicked, man. It kind of ties in nicely. You know, black goes with a lot of different dress and everything, so a little bit like the 2023 Bandit rings in a way, and it's just beautiful. But yeah, it's nice with the Bandit rings. It was nice to have a say of certain things you like, but at the same time, then Scott Loeffler, our director of operations, took our ideas and sort of compiled them into, you know, working with the, I think Jolson's was their ring designer there, and he took it and made it into something special, and kind of put the own little subtleties to it. So I had no idea really what to expect, but kind of an idea. With this one, I had no idea.
Total surprise.
And
so this was Monday night. What do you guys do? You bring everybody able to make it?
No. I know, like Eli McLaughlin's firefighting. Shane Jackson lives in Georgia.
Right.
So anybody that was local made it. So that was nice. It was beautiful, man. It was nice dinner.
No ice on the golf course down in Six Nations, was there?
Dude, I thought the golf course was going to be open. I thought it was going to go play around. They said it's not going to open for a couple of weeks. It's just too soggy, but it's green down there. It's nice. So Yeah, but it was they had a band and a lot of nice speeches, and they did a good job of it as always. So kudos to them.
And it's got you excited, like looking to get back with them for this summer.
You know what gets me excited is hanging out with the guys, right?
Yeah.
And I know we're all in our NLL seasons, and it was funny too because like Halifax and Georgia just had a tight one, and Georgia won in overtime, and you could see
now they're
like
all sitting there across from each other.
Yeah, like well, Halifax has been on a heater lately. They've been good. So them to lose to Georgia in that way, they're kind of like. It wasn't tension or anything, but it was talked about a bit, and everybody was talking about the NLL season, so it was cool, and it just makes you excited to go play with those guys again. So I'm looking forward to the summer.
And so, I mean, with something like that, because there is such the connection, and I mean, Georgia, you've been touting them all season as a team to watch, and they've had some tough losses for them to get a good win against a team that, like you said, is on a bit of a heater. Did that make it maybe less tension? Like if we're going to lose to a team, we're glad we're kind of losing to Georgia because they've got our guys, and that means maybe something for them down the road.
Maybe I don't know. It's hard to say.
Or is it like trash talk? Like are we trash talking each other?
No, it wasn't that either. It's just. It was almost like those guys avoided talking about it. And
like, don't bring up
Buffalo guys. Because like
what happened on that play?
Yeah, like non-con was getting into it with Bomberry, right? And then they're at the same table eating together, right? But in the game where they're like pushing each other around and stuff. So that's the thing with lacrosse players is we go hard on the floor, man. It's my team versus your team, and doesn't matter who's on the other side. And then off the floor, what happens on the floor stays on the floor, and then you come off, and it's we get shuffled around onto other teams so much with different leagues and different That's the thing with lacrosse. There's so many different leagues. There's obviously the NLL, but then there's summer ball, but then there's sixes and PLL and NCAA, and there's so many different types of lacrosse out there that it's almost hard to like.
And it is still a pretty small world, though, right? Because of that. Despite all the different games that are, it's kind of the same guys are playing that.
A lot of the same guys,
just because it's growing, right? And so that's part and parcel. But what I like what you say, because often as we're inching closer to the NHL playoffs, and they talk about, oh, look at this, after the 7-game series, they go and they shake hands, and you guys shake hands after every single game.
Yeah, if you can't look at the guy in the eye when you're shaking hands, it means you must be ashamed of what you did out there, and that's my big thing is like I want to play hard, I want to do the best I can for my team to win, and at the end of the day, I'm going to look every player in the eye, my team and theirs, and shake their hand.
Because there's no disrespect, right?
No disrespect. Just be proud of your effort and proud of what you did, and that's like a way to play lacrosse, right? But it's crazy though. You bring up the NHL stuff because we were talking earlier about Toronto and how. In Toronto, there's a big push for hockey right now, right? And their lacrosse is almost taking a back seat. In other places of Ontario, it's probably the opposite, right? You look up in Huntsville and different spots, and lacrosse is really taking off. But I was thinking about that the other day when that Four Nations Cup happened. And I'm like, man, that is really good for hockey. And I'm like, I wonder if that hurts lacrosse at all. I don't know.
Yeah, it's hard. Truthfully, what's hurting lacrosse right now is spring hockey.
Yeah.
Well, and it's just, again, because, and I get it, right? It's one, keeping up with the Joneses, but two, it's just like, man, I've invested all this money into the equipment and everything else. Like, again, we were at a Source for Sports down in Etobicoke, and they're selling $800 skates to 10-year-olds.
Yeah.
Right? Like, and so, yeah, you got to use those for as much as you can until you grow out of them. We've got to get our $800. And so, hey, another $250 to sign up for this tournament team. And so it's been tough. And then again, with new rules about the movement and stuff, that's got organizations not sure, so they've gone back to spring tryouts on top of that. So that's been things that have been kind of hurting but then on the other side of it, like looking at minor lacrosse, we're in the middle of tryouts and so we've got 2 teams at U9, we've got 2 teams at U11, we've got U13, and we've got just not quite the right numbers for 2 teams, and so we're going to have some guys, but now, hey, that is going to bolster the development program that's going to happen, right? Like 5 or 6 kids are going to go and join that and hopefully stick with it. And then you look and there's 32 teams at U13 in field lacrosse for Springfield. And when I played Springfield, it was like, hey, Burlington and Orangeville and Brampton, you guys want to like take your box team and go and have a couple of days outside and learn the game? And that's kind of what it was for field, right? To see 32 teams, 42 teams at U11. Like I'm getting goosebumps thinking about, man, just the numbers and what that means. And that's just a little short 6-week season. I think it was 64 teams played Ontario box lacrosse last year at the U11 age, right? And that's again, that doesn't include the development program. These are just rep programs. So it's hard to put a finger on things. I think that the World Box Lacrosse Championships, it feels like it's probably a long time ago for you now, having gone through another season of NLL. But I think it's still fresh on the minds. I think the fact that lacrosse is going into the Olympics is a big thing. But then that brings out kind of the other version of the game, which is sixes, right? It's not quite field lacrosse. It's not quite box lacrosse. It's a bit of a hybrid of both. And so it'll be interesting to see where that lands, because ultimately I think in the end, having all these different games kind of spread out and being played by the same people, it makes it tough, right? Like our spring teams, they can only go 6 weeks because, hey, box lacrosse season takes off, right? And that's the sport around here. Whereas I could see, again, in the States where field lacrosse is the main thing, and to the detriment of box lacrosse, right? And these kids come and play box lacrosse and it gets in your blood, right? Like it gets in your system. So it's growing, and then things like this, right? I think, I'm not going to take full credit, but another sellout at Bandit Land. I think podcasts like this, just people out there talking about it, trying to put it a little bit more front of mind, helps. And so having guys like you, and we always talk about it, and I'll try to stop talking here because nobody's really here listening to talk to me, but we talk about the lacrosse players and we talk to the parents and stuff like that, and they talk about guys like Steve Priolo and the boy, like I told you about the guys that go down and like they go to the rock stars and stuff like that, and they've got like Latrell Harris, and they've got Challen Rogers, and they got Dan Dawson. Like, my goodness, like there's a guy that's just a advocate for the sport and just brings you in and has you believing and you can do anything. And then you got Dane and Josh and Buffalo and Vino, and you just, every time you go to kind of talk to people involved with sport, there's a professional NLL player that's kind of backing it up, and nothing but great things to say about those people. So it's going to take some time, and there's not $1 million contracts in our lifetime, I don't think, for lacrosse players, but I'm not even sure if that's necessarily the goal either, right? Whereas with hockey,
there's $1 million contracts. You just got to play for 15 years
and save every penny. But so hopefully, again, I would love to see more podcasts about lacrosse. We've been listening to the Creators Game, which is great. The NLL's got their own sponsored one, and then of course Dane and Josh have got theirs every once in a while. We got Back of the Bird and those kinds of things. And there's actually, like, having, now that I've the media getting into it, there's lots of people that chatter about NCAA lacrosse and those kinds of things, people writing about it all the time. And so it's just that, right? It's people kind of outside of the sport that see value of the sport to then talk about it and spread the word and find ways to make a living out of it, or be willing to spend time talking about it and playing it and organizing. And because again, geez, like when you think about the Ontario provincials, I think it might be one of the largest gatherings of minor sports that happens in anywhere, right? When you bring in all the teams from U9 all the way up to U22, that is a massive endeavor, and it is done by literally thousands of volunteers. And so those are people that have decided to dedicate a lot of their time to this. And so it's what makes lacrosse so special.
So you're seeing it on the entry level that it's growing.
It's growing. I think Burlington Minor Lacrosse might be the largest minor sports organization in Ontario.
That's
right now.
so refreshing to hear, because it's, a lot of the information I get is from media. Right. And that's where I was going with the Four Nations Cup thing, was that it got so much media attention. And now with guys like Remy and these fighters that are all throwing fights, it seems like it's like a national thing, where it's like Canada versus states sort of thing going on. And I get politically why that could be a thing happening. But when you see guys like Brady Tkachuk, who has to be a good player, but he also is fighting, I wonder if like the decrease of fighting in NLL it's still good for the sport. It's good for the talent of the sport, but I wonder if it's good for the media side of things, because I know people like to watch that. And I remember when we would cross the border, guys would say, oh, you play lacrosse? Like, oh man, you must be tough, because that's a nail sport. And it is, but when you're cross-checking and banging each other, it doesn't look as rough as when you go out there and fight each other. Like, look how much media that one Toronto Buffalo fight got with belts, right? So it's like, that's what I was thinking initially when I was talking about that. So that's really refreshing to hear.
Well, but it is hard because again, it's like you said, it's sound bites, right? Like it's easy to pump that belter fight out because it's a 25-second clip that shows, and it's like, okay, and then that can be disseminated all over the place, right? Even a 23-minute podcast, right? I don't know if I want to listen to 23 minutes of lacrosse.
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
like,
it's long for people.
Little do you know that by the end of it, you've listened to 48 minutes of lacrosse.
So you skipped half it. But you're right though. It has become a world of clips, and even when you watch your comedy specials, it's like, I enjoy watching a full hour of comedy, but I know there's a lot of comedians out there that are making money off of 15-second clips where you can tell a joke, you can get a laugh, you can clip that and put it on social, and then make more money off of social off that one reel than you can off of the hour special you did, right? So there's that, and that's trickled into sports too. When I get my NBA updates, like I'm just watching Steph Curry going off for 57. I didn't watch the game.
Yep.
We used to watch the game. So,
but even something like what we're doing right now, right? Like we've got like your computer, and we've got some mics and stuff that we've taken from the music room. Yeah, but it's just like we have put this together, right? Like, and we're able to do that now with the being able to then put the podcast on things, right? Like,
it's become easier.
It's become easier in one sense to get that out there, but then because it's become so easy, now the noise is just, there's so much more to sift through to find the lacrosse and to find those things. And so that's where you count on sports centers, and you need
so it's made it easier for lacrosse to promote itself, but it's also made it easier for all the other sports to promote themselves. So it's like we all kind of rose with the viewership together.
Yeah.
But that's why it's important to get people in the stands, man. Like I'm so proud of Buffalo right now for, we lost 3 of the last 4 at home. And you go out and you see these guys, they're still waiting for you in the rain as you drive out, and you get out of your car and you go sign autographs for them. And they're like, hey, we just love you. Like, you guys will get back on track. And here we go. And the support is still, it's still felt, right? You see that we're selling out 19,070 people every night.
And I think you had said it, right? Like, you guys, that energy that you felt when you came out and you played Calgary, and you guys had just said, like, if we win this game, we're selling out the rest of the season.
Yeah.
And then you kind of lost, and there was a little bit
smoked.
And there was some disappointment, right? Obviously the loss, but also like, a missed opportunity. But then your next home game
filled
right up again. Lost. But
yeah.
So what's going? I mean, and so let's get to the lacrosse, and let's get to what's been going on. Vancouver Warriors come into town this weekend. We knew Del Bianco, right? He'd been a bit of a game changer, having a real solid goalie, and what that does for a team just pushing forward. You guys hitting the panic button? 2 losses in a row,
no, not
3
a
of 4 at home.
We're honestly doing the opposite.
Yep.
We're doing the opposite. It's like we were panicking to keep this like image going that we're unstoppable, and now it's almost like, it feels like to me, it's like now we're back in our comfort zone of just the underdogs. We're back to underdog mentality. We keep losing games. Like, might as well start thinking that way. For me, my messaging after the game was that we need to get back to having fun. We used to have so much fun, and now it's felt like when we score goals and we have nice plays and score goals, it's like we don't even get excited anymore because we're supposed to. We're the Buffalo Bandits, or our defense. We take the ball for a guy, or Paulie blocks a shot, or we're doing all these things right on D, and it's like, oh yeah, we're supposed to, because that's what we do. We've won the last 2 years, but we've forgotten that's shit's exciting, man. Like, we got to get up for one another, because nobody wants to block shots and not get patted on the back.
Right.
Like, we were having trouble getting through the middle. With Vancouver, they have a lot of big bodies. They have, Beers and the Subak guy and Mitski and even Dilks. Like, they have the defensive player of the year from last year on their team. Like, they're a good squad.
Yep.
And they're big. So we were having trouble getting through the middle. And then when that messaging goes out, and then you see Dahoka go out there and spend seemingly a minute and a half in the middle on these resets, and he's just taking a beating because he knows that that's what the team needs at that moment. That Dahoka should come to the bench and get 7,000 high fives. Right. I think he did. I would down
I'm sure he does. Yeah,
but it's not that same excitement where it's like, we got to get back to like when we do this stuff. It seems ordinary to us, but it's really quite extraordinary. And it's we need to get up for each other and have that feeling for each other. When Farrell wins a draw and he's ragging it, 3 guys on him and he's yelling at the crowd and he's just going crazy, like, we gotta feed off of that, and we got to get back to that fun side of things. Like, it's seems so ordinary to do the things right, and then when we do things wrong, it brings you down. So we're like level playing, and then we do something wrong and it brings us down.
And so do you think, is that maybe some of the pressure that you guys are feeling, like, oh man, we win this game against Calgary and we're selling out the rest of the season? Because I know you guys, as we just finished talking about, take so much pride and ownership in growing the game and getting eyeballs on the sport. Is that part of that like pressure that you're putting on yourselves, like,
I don't know,
to take the joy away?
I feel like we're not putting pressure on ourselves. We think about it a little bit about the crowd, and you know, we usually play really good at home, and not that we didn't play good. Like, we were up 2 with 9 minutes left, and then they scored a goal at the same time we took a 5-minute major, and then
we can get into that. Just
we don't need to. Yeah. We can a bit. Everybody saw it, but the reality is we had a power play to tie the game with 2 minutes left, right? And we got to stop trying to win games in the fourth. It'd be nice to, like, we used to. At the beginning of this podcast, we were like, we got to get better starts because we can't just try to win in the fourth all the time. And we're kind of relapsed to that a bit.
Mm-hmm. I mean, and just like to look at it, right? It still has you guys like far and away have scored the most goals in the fourth quarter than anybody else, even though the last 3 weeks it's been tough in that fourth quarter.
It has been tough. And
is that like, are people figuring out what Buffalo's doing?
I don't know.
Like, do you feel like they did something that you guys weren't prepared for?
No, because we got good looks, and I don't know.
And Del Bianco made some timely saves, right? More than just, and we know he's a good goalie and that kind of thing, but it seemed to be some timely.
And they shot the shit out of the ball, man. They had some rifle shots, and we were a little bit slow in gaps. Maybe we were a bit slow on those, and but we weren't doing anything out of the ordinary on D, and they were stinging them from the outside, and so we got to be tighter on those gaps so we can, make them pull it over their head instead of being able to follow through. If we can make them throw those twisters instead of being able to shoot high to high, it makes it a little bit easier on V. But yeah, it's like, man, at the end of the day, we're up 2, and then we could have won that game by three goals. And then you're sitting here saying like, yeah, like we had a great game.
Yeah.
Right. So that's kind of how the games have been going. So we don't feel bad about that, but I think it's a little bit of fatigue, man. It's a little bit of like, not winning fatigue, but like just lacrosse fatigue, where it's hard to stay that focused for that long. And I think if we get back to being the underdogs and go back to having fun and playing this game the way we were playing at the beginning of the year and last year, and then that'll sort of get us rolling. But again, we were 7-0 at the beginning of the season because we had a bye week every other week too. Yeah. So you get 13 days to prepare for the next team, whereas now you get 13 hours.
Right.
Like it's tough. Like we're in tough, but I think we're honestly, even though we're losing, our team, in terms of getting on the same page, is trending in the right direction. It would be nice.
I mean, and I think athletes always talk about there's a lot more lessons to be learned in a loss than there is in a win. So can you pinpoint anything that you're learning? Like, so we're recording this on a Thursday, so when you come off Wednesday practice, how was the mood?
It was canceled this ice.
Oh, of course,
yeah. But we learned a lot from the Calgary game, and to play Calgary the next day, and then this Vancouver game, I was kind of looking at our game film earlier, and our coaches sort of break it down and send it out early so we can watch it before practice, and it's like, guys, their team like kind of ran through the middle on us on defense, and it's like we got to get back to cross-checking and make it hard for them to get through. Like, get good sticks on them, so it's not like
all
a
the
system
way back to
breakdown.
U11 lacrosse, protect the house.
All the way back to Richie Kilgore in 1992, where he's like, cross-check them. It's like, it's the thing you can do is you got to get sticks on these guys and make it hard for them to run through the middle. And there's all these clips of guys that are running through, and we're sorting, and we're doing a good job sorting, but it's like nobody laid a stick on them.
Yeah.
So come the fourth quarter, that guy still feels able that he can run through. So you got to wear them down in that way. Make it hard on them. Make it hard on their legs. Make their legs tired. Like, every time you cross-check, you run into me, you get cross-checked. It's not bruising you, but it's making it harder on your legs, harder on your body, harder to push through. And maybe by the end, you take a shorter route as opposed to the beginning when you're cutting right through the middle. So we got to get back to those fundamentals, because system-wise, we were good on D. So it's things like that. It's things like that. And offensively, I don't know exactly what's going on, but it seems like they're getting a lot of good looks. Mickey was hot again. Chase hit a crossbar at the end of the game. Mickey hit a crossbar at the end of the game to tie it up. Like, they're not in a bad spot. So we'll see. I know with Chris Kluche going down, got put on the IR. I'm not exactly sure what happened to him, but he's on the IR for the weekend. So Scanlon's going to come in and he's going to bring a ton of energy, man. So we're going to be able to feed off of that hopefully, and try to get a win here in Colorado coming up.
And so that's where we go next, right? Is now it's travel out to Colorado. So with the practice canceled on Wednesday, what's the plan?
I think they're going to get floor time in Colorado, but not at the arena. So I think we're going to get some sort of off campus, I'll call it, spot. So we'll try to get in there and go through a couple things, but we'll have a regular shoot around, and that's a tough place to win in too, because they get fans, man, and they get loud, and they have cannons and fireworks and motorcycles, and it's a kind of a cool environment if you're cheering for the Mammoth, but it makes it a tougher place to get into. But yeah.
And then on the other side of it too, and this is what maybe I wanted to talk to you that we sort of missed about the Vancouver stuff, is like, because you guys are a playoff team, right? It's clinched.
They're fighting.
Everyone else is fighting.
Yeah.
Is that a bit of a disadvantage to clinch so early, or to have had? Now, I mean, again, hindsight being 2020.
That's all it is. It's all hindsight. So it's all like, I don't know.
Yeah.
But as of right now, it
certainly feels like it.
But you can't blame it feels like you can't blame. I could blame 10 different reasons why. It's like you play. I was still feeling the effects of that Albany travel day on Thursday.
Right.
And we're practicing Friday and playing on Saturday. So it's like, you're telling me I get a day to really actually feel good. Like it's hard, man. Like that travel day was hard. And we knew that going into this, like 12 weeks here, where it's, 2 different back-to-backs. One of them's crazy travel day, and it's a bunch of games on the road, and it's no breaks. And, it's tough, man. It's into March break. So March break, people are leaving with their families. Actually, we played our best, is when we took everyone went away with their families for March break. That's when we went and played in Calgary.
Calgary, yeah. And again, still sort of like, you talked about being really comfortable in that game, and things were feeling really good. And
they still do. That's the thing. It's like, I don't feel like system-wise we're doing anything different. It feels good. So that's why the video is important, with these little nuances of things that we're missing, that, you would tell to your tyke team that it's like, it's back to the fundamentals, right? It's fundamental lacrosse. Get back to that, and I think we'll be fine sort of going down the stretch here.
Well, and when you talk about the stretch, I mean, I think arguably the toughest 3 games left out of anybody when you can look at it, they have to play against you, but nobody has to play you and Saskatchewan. But you guys have got Colorado now here on the road. Then you're back home with Halifax, who lost a tough one, but are sitting there number 3 spot, and they want to guarantee themselves a home.
Won like 5 or 6 of the last 7, right?
Yeah, and they really want that home playoff game to reward the fans out there that are starting to fill that building, and then going down against that team that you've been pointing at all year, and then finishing up with Georgia, right? So a really tough thing, and so trying not to get too far ahead of yourselves. Colorado, what do you got to do to beat them?
Get through the middle on their defense.
Yeah,
they have a big, strong defense. Dylan Ward likes to play way out, so we got to get guys going through the middle. Just have unselfish behavior on offense, right? So with a guy like Dylan Ward and their defense, you can't have predictable shots, because he'll be able to step way out. So we got to really be able to swing that ball, get guys through the middle, push them back on their heels, which pushes him back into his net, and that'll open up a little bit. And then on defense, it's going to be difficult because we're so used to Eli and Zed and these guys, right? So it's going to be a lot of focus on Robinson, a lot of focus on Lee. Ryan Lee, we can't let him get underneath on us, because there's just no help. Yep. So Ryan Lee, a lot of focus on those guys. But I find that Colorado, it doesn't really matter who you put in there. They are that machine where it's all guys play all positions and they move. And so it's going to come down to communication and being able to switch and open and play your wrong sides and be comfortable on your wrong side. And if we can get through the middle on that, and we don't get too lost on defense, because they like to lose you. So if we're able to like stay with our men pretty good, we should be in a good spot to try to take one in their house.
And I mean, last year was a bit of a down year for them, and long before we had this podcast, we kind of always joked like Colorado just seemed to be almost like a plug and play. It didn't matter who was coming over the bench; they all looked the same, all big dudes that could run fast. Is that guy a defender? Is that guy an offense? Oh, he's scoring. What's going on? Oh, he's back playing defense. And that's still pretty much the mentality and the makeup of their team.
Yeah, I think it is. They're just, they're struggling. It's team struggle, right? It's they got Will Malcolm too, right? They picked him up in that expansion draft, so he's going to be interesting. You'll have to look a little bit of video on him, because it's a different look from him. But I'm excited. I'm excited for these 3 games, man. If we could get back on track for these 3, then that'll put us in a good spot, sort of heading into May here.
Awesome. And so that it is. We're now in April, so the March to May is, I guess, over, but now really hitting high gear because it's it's April, and it's in Colorado. So flying out Friday night.
Friday night, yeah.
And then,
Friday afternoon.
Okay.
Take off early from here.
And then you got hopefully practice and then a little shoot around.
It's like moving day in golf. It's like that's what April is, eh? It's like that. Was that Sunday on golf?
Saturday
in golf.
Saturday is moving day. Yeah.
Moving day. So
here we are, right?
we're in moving day. See teams jumping around.
You guys are at the top of that leaderboard, trying to maintain that spot, and you got everybody else chomping at the bit to come up from behind, and that's certainly the case for Colorado. They want to be where you guys are. So it's 8:00 Saturday night, Bandit Land. You guys are going to be tuning in if you haven't already traveled out that way, because again, Bandit Land travels so well. It's so great for the sport, great for everything. But yeah, a little bit of a later face off, and the first game of the last 3. So here we go. Good luck, Cap. Thanks again for doing this. Sweet ring.
All
right, let's go
Appreciate it.
Yeah, let's get a third for the NLL here.
Now we're
All
talking. Right. See ya.